the nebula of dreams and lore, Uncle Chunt's got tales galore. With the mighty beard, a hammer strong, pop culture legends where we belong. Chuntcast roars like a cosmic storm. Movies, comics, games, we transform. Uncle Chunt leads the way each night. Through the stars we take our flight.
Yes, by the might of Mjolnir, I am the king of this realm, Uncle Chunt, and I hope you're all being great ones to you and yours. Thank you for including me in your day, and apologies ahead of time if I'm a little disheveled. It's been a pretty busy few days with Cyclone Alfred looming around Queensland, and it's still going on. It's a tropical low at the moment, but the rain is still very heavy, and power outages are imminent. So I just thought, look, I'm just going to get on and do a Chuntcast and see what happens. And if I lose power, I lose power. So, but look, it's a bit of a small news week anyway, besides natural disasters. And a lot of people have it worse than I do right now in Brisbane and Queensland at the moment, and southeast Queensland, north east New South Wales. So hopefully all of you out there who have been affected are okay and are safe with or without power. You know, just lean on your friends and family, evac centres or shelter centres around, and just do what you need to do, but just be safe. My wife and I have been quite lucky in this instance. Seems to be we're in this little pocket that everything has happened around. Knock on wood, we haven't lost power yet. We're probably going to get flooded somewhere, so that's fine. We'll deal with that. So work tomorrow is going to be interesting. Anyway, I'm okay. We've gone through all of our snacks. That is the worst thing. All of our snacks are gone. I don't know what we're going to do. No, it's not that bad. I think Coles is going to be open. So we'll go to Coles or Woolies tomorrow and restock if we need to. But yeah, look, I'm all good. And thanks for those of you who have been checking in on me and asking. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's not lost on me. We've been keeping ourselves occupied here. I've been working up to the lead up to this weekend anyway, but I've been playing some games, and I'm going to just talk about that, like what I've been playing. What have I been doing locked up at home during a natural disaster, the disaster named Alfred and his wake. Yes. So let's just hook right into it. First up, we've got an Ask Chunt by Rangatology. Rangatology. It's a funny name. Every time I see his comment come up, it gives me a laugh. It's pretty funny. But yeah, he's being a recurring Ask Chunt participant. So thanks for dropping us another question recently. And so I'm just putting it here today. So let's get stuck into it. Yes.
Ask Chunt, break through the night, seek the true power and might.
Okie dokie. So, Rangatology. He asks, with your Guardian superhero character, plus or and the success of Quijibo and Harold, have you considered a Nordic Viking character, giving your interest in the culture for any upcoming projects? From Rangatology. Okay, that's a really cool question. Thank you for submitting yet another question. It's awesome. Really appreciate it. And if anyone else wants to submit one too, I'll keep a record. Just tag myself on socials or leave a comment with a hashtag AskChunt and I'll find it and keep a record and we'll get to you. But thank you, Rangatology. So, yeah, look, I'm actually looking forward to moving on and working on Guardian of Honor and finally getting that happening. I'm glad you think Kuchibo and Harold is successful. I do. I think so, considering that I have a very small footprint online, and considering other creators on there, and the fact that I've been able to sell as many copies as I have already, I'm considering it a success. Like I keep saying, I like to keep myself pretty humble and in check. I always say if at least one person has been interested enough to pick up anything that I do, let alone put down money for it, to me that's a success, right? I don't have, I'm not ungrateful is what I'm trying to say. Like I don't dream, or I do dream big, but I keep my expectations real. Excuse me while I take a sip. Haven't been sleeping much with all the noise going around the cyclone, so bear with me here. Yeah, look, I have considered doing something Nordic related, or just Viking-ish or Viking related. I do really enjoy the culture. I think it's awesome, and it does harken back to my family's heritage and all that stuff. So, look, I'm not going to lie. Some of my Guardian of Honor stuff, there's some like Nordic influence in there as far as like sociology or, you know, how people interact with each other or the world. And no, it's not like Asgard and that kind of stuff. I just like some of the principles, some of the lifestyle and that culture aspects to include into the story. So it's not just Earth. Like it's, well, for one, they're not based on Earth in that story. It's a planet called Honor. That's why it's called Guardian of Honor. Like he's the guardian of that planet. So it is another world, and I've got freedom to make it how I want, right? Yes, I can try and make it relatable. You know, we are Earthlings, humans. We do speak English and, well, many languages, but for the most part, like if you've read a comic book that's set on another planet, or if you've read a book or a novel or a movie, watched a movie that's set on another planet, there are liberties taken, right, to make it accessible and consumable. You know, where everybody speaks English, or you know, everybody has an American sense of humor, which I can't stand that. It's what bugs me about some of these Marvel movies and that, where the universe is vast and you go and visit different planets and different characters, but everybody's got this American quip, and I hate it. Anyway, takes me right out of it. Just like EA games and Ubisoft games, they've all got this American quip about every character, and it's so insufferable. Anyway, so needless to say, I'm not going to be doing that, right? But yeah, some of the culture stuff and sensibilities, and you know, maybe some of the what some would consider barbaric or violent aspects of the culture. You know, I'm going to try and introduce some of that into the world of Honor, right? It's fantasy, sci-fi. You know, I can do what I like, really. So yeah, I'm going to try and do that. And I'm going to set up my own kind of runes, right, for language. I'm going to try anyway, because I want to build out the world, right? And it's not that difficult to build out your own alphabet, right? It's not. You just have to stick with it, right? And create your own lexicon, and you know, if you want to use that, right? So when you're looking at the world, or if I'm drawing like a place that is a sign or whatever signage, I'm going to be trying to use my own kind of runes or language like that, right? Just give it that extra flair, give it that otherworldly feel where everything looks different. It's not English. Like I'm not going to do that. Set another planet, and if I have a billboard or something, or a sign, or you know, a written text or whatever, and it just be English, I'm not going to do that. So that's been fun trying to develop that kind of stuff, and it'll be cool to see. Hey, you know, if once I finally put this book out, you know, I can put in the back of it, right, the alphabet, like the matrix that you can use. So if you want to go back and like look at some things on pages, and you can figure out what has actually been said on some signage or papers or whatever, like HUD displays and all that kind of stuff. I think that'll be fun. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Like, yes, I do intend, and I have considered, and I will be doing that, and probably not just there too. I just really enjoy that stuff, and if I can, I'm not gonna. I'm not going to spoil some things, but there's some things in Quijiban Harold book 2 that I'm going to introduce some of that in there too. All right. Because I think it's fun. And I've already written that part and introduced a couple of characters that way. So, yeah, looking forward to that. So anyway, it's just part of who I am and what I feel is right. And, you know, part of being creative and putting yourself out there, there's a difference from self-insertion, which a lot of creators are doing in Marvel and DC these days. And yeah, when it's so blatant, I just can't be bothered to read it, right? But there's such a thing as interpreting oneself into the story you're trying to tell. That's different, right? Because everything that you do creatively, whether it's speaking or writing or drawing or art, whatever it is, it's from you, right? So you almost can't help, right? But put some of yourself in it. Even if you're writing another story that's maybe alien to you, right? You're still writing it from a perspective of how your understanding is, right, of that situation, or how you might deal with certain things, or your considerations, your ideas, your translation of scenarios feeds into whatever story that you're reading. You know, whether people like to say that's true or not, right? That's just how I see it. Someone might tell me, well, if you're writing on the behalf through the eyes of another character, that's great. You can do that. You can put yourself in someone else's shoes, but you're still coming from your own perspective on some situations, right? You can't get away from that, right? So I don't feel bad in putting some of myself in my things, right? In my creations and my projects, because it's mine and it's part of me and it's what I'm putting out there, and you know, hopefully people enjoy it. So anyway, yeah, so look forward to that. So Guardian of Honor is going to be my next thing off the book. Off the books, I should say. Once I've finished animating Quijiban Harold Book 1, I'm about halfway through. It's just finding the time between day job and life stuff and actually having enough energy left to finish it in my days, in my weekends. Yeah, so I'm about halfway done that now. And once I've finished animating that, I'll start on Book 2 of Quijiban Harold and put that out. And probably animate that as well, and then get stuck onto Guardian of Honor as my next big thing, and take a bit of a break from Quijiban Harold and get into something a bit more meaty. I'm really loving just being in the Quijiban Harold world. It's fun. It's just freedom to create whatever. Not, you know, whether it makes sense or not. It's just fun and these silly characters and silly situations. And Book 2, definitely, it's coming along well. I'm building out the world a bit, adding a bit of lore and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, thanks, mate. Thanks for your question. If you want to submit another one, go for it, mate. But yeah, if people are still sticking around, if you want to submit, just to remind you, if you want to submit a question, just tag me on socials and hashtag AskChunt, or leave a comment below the video with a hashtag AskChunt, and I'll file that away and then we'll come around. So excellent. All right. So what I want to get into next is, I'm keeping it easy for this one. I'm just chilling this one because I don't know when I'm going to lose power. But I just want to talk about what I've been playing lately and what I've been doing. And there's some toy reveals. Toy fair has been happening, and I want to talk about some of that. So yeah, let's just keep it chill and hook right in, yeah. Okie dokie. Let me just try and figure this out. Cool. So yeah, what have I been playing? So I'll start off with, if I've got this set up correctly. Nope, I do not. Nope, I do not. It's Pip. Picture in picture, Christopher. Cool. So I'll play this in the background so we've got some visual aid. So yeah, I've been playing a bit of Digimon Survive. I bet you didn't expect that. Neither did I, to be honest. So I saw a lot of Digimon games on sale a couple months ago, or towards the end of last year, or maybe it was January. I don't know. Time means nothing. And they're all on sale for dirt cheap, like $10. You know, $10, $18, $13, whatever it is, on PSN and on Xbox. So I bought Digimon Survive on Xbox. And for those of you wondering why'd you buy Digimon games? Well, you know, I've got a Digivice here. This is the 25th anniversary color edition. that my wife got me for my birthday last year, and been looking for some games, some recent or whatever games are available on console because I don't have any other way to play them. And I heard about this one. I heard a lot of stuff coming out about this game when it released, and that it subverts your expectations of what a Digimon game is. It's a bit darker. It's a visual novel, but it's also got some RPG combat elements here, as you could tell. And look, I'm not going to lie, man. When I first started it, the first hour or so, right, it's just talking, these characters talking to each other. You're making choices along the conversation tree and all that kind of stuff. And it's all a visual novel type style, right? So, I mean, it's done really presentable. Like, it looks quite pretty the way they've done it, and all the colors and the animations, even the still images of the characters are drawn like immaculately, like really clear and crisp. And Digimon has a particular art style, and it's there. So you're seeing it there. It's kind of what you're seeing on screen is what it is. It's these single shot scenarios. You can look around and pinpoint certain things, and that might trigger another conversation or progress the story, or you can look through your phone to try and find out what's going on in this digital realm. But yeah, look, after the first hour, I was falling asleep, man. I was tired because it's been the last couple of days, not really sleeping much with the cyclone going on. But I think it also had to do with I was just bored, right? But then finally, after like the hour mark or so, the story takes a turn and things start happening, and I started getting a bit more invested. And you finally meet your actual Digimon partners and all that kind of stuff, and those relationships start building, and some creepy stuff starts happening. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I started getting into it, and the combat's kind of fun. It's your typical, tactical RPG combat system. If you've played one of those, you've played them all. But it's more of that. So yeah, it's like, oh wow, it's almost 2 years old. 2? Yeah, 3 years old or whatever. This game, almost 3 years old. So yeah, look, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I needed a bit of a break and try something else. I've been saying that to myself a lot. I've got a big backlog, right? But there's some games in there that it's a time sink and a time investment of like, okay, another massive game that requires hundreds of hours, right? And it's engaging combat and all that kind of stuff. I'm just tired, and I'm not in the mode to play something like that. So I turned this on, and I was like, okay, this is more my speed right now. So yeah, I'm digging it. I'm gonna finish it. I think I'm gonna get through a couple story chapters and see if it still holds me there, and if the combat's fun and if the story progresses at a good pace. The moment I start getting to that point where nothing's happening, I start falling asleep again, is probably where I'll just wrap it up and move on to another game. Plus, I didn't spend a lot of money on this, so I'm not too, beside myself if I stop playing it because I got it quite cheap. Anyway, so yeah, look, Digimon, I think Digimon's a pretty cool property. Some of the games that I've played though on PlayStation, Digimon World or Digimon Cyber Sleuth Cyber Sleuth. I think that was the other one. I've tried these other two on PS5 at the moment. They were Vita ports, PS Vita ports, and on PS4. And the combat, man, it's a lot like the original Digimon World games on PlayStation, the original PlayStation back in the day, where I don't know how you make sense of it, right? It doesn't make sense. And evolving your Digimon into something that you actually want it to evolve in, there's no way for you to tell, right? It's not like Pokemon where you just hit a certain level and there you go, it's freaking Raichu all of a sudden, with a Thunderstone. It's not that simple. Or, hey, War Turtle evolves at level 15 or whatever. There you go, you've got your War Turtle. It's not like that. Where this one, you got to treat them right. You got to feed them when they need it. You got to take them to the toilet when you need them to. I haven't come across this in this game yet, but I'm just talking about Digimon World and the old Digimon devices back in the day, where you had to really take care of them and treat them a certain way. Not scold them too much. Don't overwork them or overcombat them or whatever. So you can get them to evolve into what you actually want them to evolve into. The amount of times I've played those other Digimon games and I've tried to evolve something into something I want, and it goes to a different option in the evolution tree, and you're like, no, that's not, no, you know. So that's one thing that frustrates me about Digimon, all right? And it just takes me out of it because you've spent all that time with that creature, that Digimon, and you've invested that time in training and leveling it up and whatever else, and then it turns into something you don't want. You're like, okay, just wasted all my time. Awesome. All right, let me go try and do that all over again. Right. There are ways to like reverse, like devolve them and then try it again. And so, you know, it is what it is. But look, it's complicated. Digimon, I forgot how complicated Digimon is. And it's probably why it's not as popular as Pokemon, to be honest. But look, it has its charms. It has its characters. I dig it for what it is. There is that new Digimon game coming out that was revealed this year, and Digimon, whatever it was called, Digimon World something. I can't remember what it's called. Time Shadows or whatever. I can't remember. Anyway, that one looks like it's more of a turn-based RPG like this, and if so, great, awesome, right? Please make the evolution system a bit simpler, please. That's all I ask, and that should be a good game. But anyway, another game that I've been playing has been this absolute gem of a game. Oh my God. So Power Rangers Reader's Rewind. Holy moly. This game was so good, and it was exactly what I wanted, right? Oh man, I can't say enough praise for this game. It's clearly made, and I remember watching some interviews with the developers where they're all fans of Power Rangers, and when they got the option and the opportunity to do this, they were really excited, and it shows in this game. This game is so full of like just love for the property for one, deep cuts that, you know, real hardcore Power Rangers would remember from back in the 90s, from the original season. Some other callbacks from other properties that were popular at the time that are hinted in there. I'm not going to spoil them for you, so in case you play this, you can see them for yourself. But man, the different modes of combat in this game throughout the levels, like riding on the battle bikes. I've never played a Power Rangers game where you could do that. Piloting the Megazord, and you see it from the perspective of the Rangers fighting the, you know, giant Goldar and other monsters that you fight as you go. Oh wow, I thought I put this on a loop. Loop that, please. Never done that in a game before, a Power Rangers game before. Me, anyway. I don't think there has been others. There's been games where, you know, you can fight as a giant Megazord and fight the other one like a 2D fighter or whatever, but nothing like you're from the first person in the Megazord, right? And with all the Mode 7 kind of style in this, it just, oh man, the music, if you loved Turtles in Time, right? That kind of music sound, it's just like that here. And oh man, it's everything that I wanted it to be. I've wanted a Power Rangers game like this forever. I just don't know why it took me so long. I bought this at launch and I've only just played it. Right? That's how far back in my backlog I am and my free time and energy I've got. But I'm so pleased with this game. It's got replayability. You unlock a character at the end of it. I'm not going to spoil it. The combat scenarios in the boss battles are awesome. I mean, look at that. Eye Guy, just beating up Eye Guy in the first person. You get to ride around in a Zord, like the individual Zord, depending on the ranger that you're controlling in some of these bonus levels. Man, and it's multiplayer, so you can play as, I think it's 6-player as well. Pretty sure. But man, loved it. Just, it's not just nostalgia, it's an actually amazingly made game. Animations are so great. Sound is awesome. Presentation's awesome. It's made by developers that made all the best, or had their fingers in all the best beat 'em ups of the genre back through the 90s, and they've made this game. They're all part of this team making this game. And oh man, my only sad point about this is, well, I'll get to that in a minute, but I must say another highlight is this game ties directly into the 30th anniversary special on Netflix, Once and Always. So if you've seen that and you've got Robo Reader in there and you know what happens in that episode, it's directly tied into this, which is really cool. Really, really cool. And it also confirms, well, I'm going to call it canon. And if it hasn't already been confirmed, I'm confirming it now, where not sure if it's addressed in the comics, but this game addresses it, where the 1994 or 94 movie, 1994 movie back in the 90s is essentially now canonized as its own timeline. So that's cool, right? I mean, I thought that anyway when I was a kid, when I watched that movie and then was watching the series, and all the same characters in the series, but everything's not the same. The villains are different. The scenarios are different, but it's the same characters. So I was like, okay, this must just be like its own separate movie thing, movie timeline, movie universe, whatever. Anyway, look, it's awesome. I can't say enough good things about this. It doesn't overstay its welcome. However, I do wish I could have got a bit more, right? Just me being greedy, and I loved it that much. I'm keeping it installed because I will go through it again. And man, I hope we get another one. Oh, that's my sad piece that I was going to get into. Unfortunately, I think this is a one and done. If you stay after the credits, there is a bit of a hint at something, but given how Hasbro's given up on Power Rangers, it's now licensing it out to whoever will take it. Hasbro, they're not driving Power Rangers anymore. They're not investing any more resources into it from their end. And that's Hasbro doing that across the board, but Power Rangers was the first one to be cut. They stopped making the toys for Power Rangers. They're licensing that out to Playmates, which is what I'll get to coming up here. But yeah, I just don't think, unless this developer, if it's sold enough, or they had enough of good feedback or whatever it is, if they deemed it successful, if they think they can invest in another one. I mean, you've got all of season 2. We've got all of the Boom Studio comics that you can build from another game. Man, I'd love a Shattered Grid game. Like, oh my God. Anyway, look, go play it. If you haven't already, if you're not a fan of Power Rangers, fine, right? But I think you'll still enjoy it. It's a really good beat 'em up, and it's presented very, very well. Cool. All right. So the last game I'm going to talk about is probably some that'll go, what the hell? But yeah, so I've been playing a lot of, oh my God. Is that a power out? Nope. No, I've still got power. Excellent. So I've been playing a lot of Beyblade X Zone. So yes, last week, I think I've mentioned on Chuntcast a couple of times now about Beyblades. And yes, I'm into Beyblades. I play Beyblades. So I blah, 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 blah. But there's a Switch game and it's also on Steam. And I couldn't help but pick it up, obviously. So when I'm not physically playing the game, or if I'm not entering tournaments or whatever, it's just nice to have a video game, right? That you can just get your fix and try out some different combinations of parts that you might have. But look, it's a very simple game. I didn't expect much going into it, but again, it plays out. You can walk around. There's the X building, X Corporation building that you can walk around and explore, like a couple levels, like the lobby, and it's got some multiplayer aspects in there, and the characters that you can talk to. You can roam around a couple of levels and find some hidden items, and it's got some RPG elements for you as a blader, and your parts that you can upgrade and level up and enhance and stuff like that. You can purchase and sell parts and all that, right? And you can combat other bladers as you go up this 100 level X tower. And as you go, there's bosses every 5 or 10 levels, right? And you got to beat them, and it's cool, man. Like I really dig it. It's a very simple presentation. Frame rate's a bit crap on Switch, but almost every game is frame rate's crap on Switch. But I got it on Switch because it comes with all the DLC, whereas the Steam version, it might look better and run better, but you got to buy all the DLC separately, and I wasn't going to do that. So, my God, you can hear. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background this whole time, but yeah, it's pretty heavy. Anyway, so I dig it, man. I was lying in bed the other night with my wife as we're waiting the impending cyclone, and I brought my Switch in the bed and just played some more Beyblade X Zone. And I played on my TV like during over breakfast sometimes, or during my lunch break. I'll come out in the lounge room and have a coffee in the morning and play a couple rounds if I want. I really dig it, man. It's good. Story's kind of funny. Some interesting characters in there. It's a typical anime thing. But yeah, look, again, if you don't like Beyblades, you're probably not going to like this. I think you have to really be a fan of what Beyblades is and to really kind of get what's going on. But look, if you're interested, give it a go. I don't think anyone watching this will be like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll give that a go. But look, I really dig it. It's really got me. Beyblade has caught me by the balls and it's reeled me back in. And I enjoy it just for what it is. I'm fully aware that I'll make you aware. The combat experience you have in this video game is not like how it is in the real world. Like this wacky kind of stuff that's happening on screen. Like, I mean, you can throw people out of the ring, like your opponent's Beyblade. If you hit them hard enough, you can knock them flying out of the ring. That's true. I've seen it happen. It's happened to us. But it's very violent. In real life, it's very violent. It's literally, you've got like a small piece of solid metal on top that's spinning around so goddamn fast. And if you have two of those things hit each other, the recoil, the bursts, like the throw each other out of the ring, like they just smash against the stadium wall very hard. It's like, man, I didn't remember Beyblades being like this. I remember Beyblades being made out of plastic back in the day, but this has more metal in it this time, and it's could be dangerous if you're not playing with the right stuff. So anyway, yeah, those are the 3 games I've been playing lately, and I'm digging it. It's good just to play some games and chill out and try and disconnect from things that are going on, in life and work and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just simple games, right? I know I'm almost 40 and I'm playing some anime type games, but whatever, man. Gaming's for everybody. You can never be too old to play whatever you want. Power Rangers for life. So it is what it is. Anyway, so that's what I've been playing. After this, probably going to go out and play some more Digimon, I think, and continue that story. My wife is enjoying seeing where that was going as well. So it's kind of cool. You can enjoy the visual novel together and just see how the combat plays out as it goes. Cool. All right. I think I'm tempting fate here by going longer than I need to. So I'm going to get into the next section and just cover some toys, and then we'll wrap it up, and I'll turn everything off again. So anyway, let's get into it. Yeah. Excellent. Yes. There, we did it right this time. Cool. So, look at this. So, New York Toy Fair happened over the last week, and there's been a lot of reveals, a lot of new toy lines announced, a lot of cool stuff, right? I'm not going to go through everything because it's literally, I could just do a whole show on just what everything happened at Toy Fair, but I'm just picking a couple bits that I think are worth talking about. Some of you 80s ladies and gentlemen out there might appreciate. And one of these is M.A.S.K. Now, let me see if I can remember what this anagram is. Or acronym, whatever the hell the word is. Is it Mobile Armored Strike Command? I think that's what it is. I think that's what M.A.S.K. is. But anyway, so this was a 80s, early 80s, mid 80s cartoon. Epic theme song. Don't believe me, go YouTube it, check the theme song, check the intro. It's one of those awesome things from the 80s cartoons that always had. They're just not the same anymore. Most shows these days and cartoons don't have any kind of cool shit like that. So M.A.S.K, it's they're not Transformers, but they're vehicles that turn into things, like a car into a flying car, or whatever. A motorcycle that converts to a helicopter, right? Stuff like that. Or a truck that turns into a kind of mobile base, Transformers can do that too, but this is very different. They don't turn into sentient robots or anything like that. But how cool is this? Like I've been saying for a while, like we've had this resurgence of nostalgia from the 80s going on forever, it seems, and all the major properties from the 80s are back. But I kept saying to myself, like, where the hell is M.A.S.K? Like, M.A.S.K was a big deal back in the day. And I remember it even as a kid. Like, it wasn't my thing, but I remember it. And for those of you who don't remember, the drivers or pilots of these vehicles, they all had masks, right? And they had special abilities in every mask that was individual to them. And that was a gimmick. Like, the mask would connect them to the vehicle and it'd have special abilities and unlock things and that kind of stuff. So anyway, so this is done by the Loyal Subjects. They're a toy manufacturer, a toy developer. Well, they've revealed officially M.A.S.K, the retro line. So they're not redoing like a modernization of M.A.S.K. They're literally taking the models from the 80s and remaking them, right, as they were. They've made some improvements on the figures, right? There's still limited articulation. So that, let me just show some photos here so you get the idea, right? M.A.S.K, you audio listeners, you're missing out on this altogether. But so the figures here, I don't know why, but the arms are missing elbow articulation, but there's knee articulation, shoulder, hip articulation, neck articulation, right? I guess to keep their arms stiff so they're driving, or I don't know. It just seems a bit silly. But the 80s ones were worse. They didn't have that much articulation at all, if you remember some of the old G.I. Joe figures. So yeah, you got the big truck there, the iconic, that's the one on the logo, right? So if I can go back up and see if I can tell you the actual details. Sorry, I know I'm all over the place. I keep listening to the roof. So yeah, it's a new molding, but they're respecting the originals, like mirrors and chrome, all that kind of stuff. New molds created from scratch. So John Warden, he's there as a consultant at the Loyal Subjects. So John Warden was with Hasbro for like 20 years or something, right? 15 to 25 years. I can't remember how long. But so John Warden's behind all the famous, popular, recent memory, modern Transformers toy lines, right? Outside of, Armada and Cybertron and all that kind of stuff. But, he'll Siege War for Cybertron, all that kind of stuff. That 2019 toy line that just got me hooked, and that's everything that you can see behind me. So he's moved over there now, and he was with Power Rangers for a little bit, but then he got laid off when Hasbro were doing all their cuts. So now he's with them. The Loyal Subjects doing M.A.S.K, which is awesome. I mean, if this goes off, he'll do an amazing job with this toy line. The price point is collector base at $100, and cheaper, full of wave. So I think the biggest one is the truck at $100, and this is American. So it's based on size. Wave 2 is not confirmed yet. Just depends on how well Wave 1 does, and you can go pre-order it wherever, like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth and retailers later. Crossovers were discussed, but it's too early to say. So your crossovers like G.I. Joe and Transformers and stuff, right? But it's too early to say. Just see how well it does. But yeah, this is a massive nostalgia trip for those of you who really enjoy M.A.S.K. Don't ask me to recite every name of every character and vehicle on here. Like, as I said, M.A.S.K wasn't my thing, but I do appreciate it for what it is. I think this is awesome, right? If I wasn't already chock-a-block with my own collection and my own Transformers wall, and I've got my Motu over there, my Hasbro Marvel Legends, and my McFarlane DC stuff, right? If I wasn't so chock-a-block with all that stuff, like, I'd probably go in on this. I think M.A.S.K is awesome. It's just so cool, so 80s. I mean, look at that. A flying car, hell yeah. It's got some blast effects and missiles, and this truck is awesome. It's like the other big truck from the 80s, right? Optimus Prime being the other, obviously, if I need to paint that out. Cool. Anyway, let me just go through. So yeah, this I can't remember what this thing turns into, but it looks awesome anyway. So yeah, epic stuff. I know my older brother James M.A.S.K was his thing, and I told him about this, and he seemed a bit excited. So you can see their masks on the ground there. Man, nostalgia is real. Anyway, so I thought this was awesome. I just wanted to share. So you can see that This is the prototype. These are all prototypes, so not finished, right? But you can see maybe like in the elbows there's no articulation. But maybe there will be down the line, closer to launch. But this gives you a bit of an idea of what the little figures look like. They look like they're going to be tiny, like the G.I. Joe 3.5 or 3.25 inch, whatever, toy lines that used to be, which makes sense. There's another guy there. He looks kind of cool. He's the guy that goes on the motorbike, turns into a helicopter, because of course. Yeah, really cool stuff. This guy is the big old man in the big ship, so of course he is. Really, really cool stuff. There's something else down here that I just wanted to go on just quickly. It's a bit more nostalgia bait. I think it's on this one. Yeah, look. My Pet Monster. I don't know if you guys remember that, but man, they're bringing My Pet Monster back. Never had one of these as a kid. And yes, I'll probably see to rectifying that and provide my inner child a My Pet Monster. For those who don't know what this is, go YouTube it. It had a live action movie. I remember watching that a lot as a kid and watching the cartoon series. So that's cool, seeing that come back. Not much else on there that I want to talk about, but the next one is, oh my God. So they're doing this epic Motu Cross Thundercats toy line. My God. Okay, so again, this is another one where I don't think I can get away with throwing down the coin on this. I don't think my wife would approve. Kind of made a deal for the new year that I won't start another toy line. And it sounds like I'm an addict and I've got a problem. And I do, and I am. But plastic crack, mate, it's a powerful thing. But I said, no, look, I'm not going to start any more new lines. I've kind of got what I want, right? I've got my Motu, like I just said. I've got my Marvel and X-Men figures and Avengers, and I've got my DC like Pantheon of figures over there on the display. And I've got other stuff around here, massive Transformers and whatever else, right? Got some Dragon Ball over there. I got rid of all my Power Ranger stuff except one figure. I've got some Morphers. But anyway, so what this is, it's a crossover, obviously, with Master of the Universe and Thundercats. I remember growing up and always saying, man, why didn't they cross over? Right? That they're essentially the same thing, except just different skins, right? And instead of the Sword of Power, you've got the Sword of Thundera, right? Sword of Omens. And vice versa, like just go out from there. You've got Grey Skull, you've got the Thundercat lair. It's just the 80s. It was all that. I love that stuff, right? If I ever have a position to make my own franchise like that, I will make something with an epic sword, with an epic hero, with an epic team, and an epic like castle lair thing, and do that. I'd love to do that. Love to do that. It'd be so cool. I love that stuff, man. I've got the 2021 Castle Grayskull from the CGI Netflix series. That Grayskull is awesome. Lights and sounds and an automated drawbridge and all that kind of stuff. It's so cool. So anyway, about this. So we'll have a look. So we'll skip some of the initial He-Man stuff and just get straight to the crossover bits. Here we are. I mean, look at that Skeletor cross Mumra up there, right? And this toy line, the way they're doing it is they're providing you with swap out pieces, right? And this is what's getting me, where I've been saying, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if they made some affordable Thundercat toys like they're doing with the Motu Origins stuff, right? This is what this looks like, where they're giving you the option where this is a crossover, but you've got swap out pieces. So if you just wanted the Thundercats, you could swap the pieces out and they'll just look like their Thundercat self, right? So you can take the shoulder piece off, the swap out head piece, right? You can swap his loincloth and all that kind of stuff, and he'll just look like Lino. And he's got the gauntlet, the paw gauntlet, right? There's a He-Man here where it looks like, so you got this chest piece. It's like the Eternia playset with the panther head on it, right? And they've given Lino the same kind of Eternian armor looking thing. Like, it's so cool. Oh, I love this stuff, man. So you can take all these pieces off and he'll just be like a normal He-Man, right? and they've given him an actual cooler haircut than just the Karen haircut of the 80s that they keep giving him over the years. He looks a lot cooler there, man. This is a cool He-Man figure. Very, very tempted. But you got Panthro, right? So he's got some Man-at-Arms type of armor on him, right? But you can swap these pieces out. Take the shin armor off, the headpiece off there, the shoulder piece and that kind of stuff, and he'll just look like Panthro. Same thing. This is so cool. This is Cringer, right? Or Battlecat as a Thundercat. How cool is that, man? I want it. I want it, man. I don't know how much these figures are, but damn. You know, it's really getting to the point where, oh God, like, have I just signed up for it and I don't know it yet? Like, do I need to go through a period of acceptance, right? Do I need to have this conversation with my wife? You know? How cool is this? Oh, man. So, okay, so this is the Skeletor / Mumra figure, right? You can, if you go look, right, back in the, if you just look at the characters, if you go look, Mumra's cape is a different color, but the inside is Skeletor's color, and vice versa, right? So they've worked that into the figure here. So you can swap that cape around. You can take it off, swap it around, and it'll look like Mumra's cape from the inside, right? And you can take his head off and other pieces, and it'll turn into Mumra. And Skeletor and Mumra just happen to have the same skin color, right? How awesome is this? You know, it just, oh man, I want it. I mean, look at this, man. How cool is it? I mean, this is a big figure, right? Oh God, like I sound like I've already signed up for it and I just have to accept it, right? You can swap out all the Skeletor pieces and put the Mumra bits on there, and oh boy. I mean, look at that. That's cool. I don't think this armor is finished. It looks like it's still prototype stuff because it's all uncolored, or is that, maybe that's just what it looks like. But it looks like it's unfinished. But this is Tiger, I believe. Oh, man. Like, even just to get Chitara, right? So these are perfect shots. So you can see you can swap out the hair. So you take out the headpiece top, right, with the crown and the hair slicked back. You can put the more wild hair on there. And these look like the different shins that you can swap out, right? And it'll look more like a traditional Chitara. So where's Snarf? I don't know. But this whole toy line, holy mackerel, right? Jesus. I don't know if I can get away with this, right? Do I just order it and go, oh, whoops, I forgot to tell you. Oh, God. I'm sorry, but this, to me, this is the coolest thing at Toy Fair that was revealed. I've heard about this and I've seen bits and pieces of this prior to the lead up to Toy Fair, but seeing all the footage and the images about these figures just blew me away. The Thundercats are rad, man. And it's just the perfect mix where I don't want another Motu collection because I've already got one based on the CG Netflix series, which is awesome, by the way. But to be able to dabble a bit into Thundercats and maybe they'll do their own Thundercat lair in this style. I don't know, but oh boy. All right. I'll move on. So a bit of negative news here. It is what it is. Look, so I never collected DC figures, right? As a proper hobby, going out of my way. I had like one Superman figure some years ago now, until Todd McFarlane picked up the license for DC to make a toy line called DC Multiverse. Prior to that, Mattel had their own DC Multiverse line. And I didn't pick that up either because I just didn't like the look of the figures and their articulation was a bit limited, right? But people love that stuff. Like over the 90s and 2000s, like there were DC collectors that had their own Mattel DC Multiverse collection, right? And it just didn't get me until this toy line came out and the articulation was all there. The first wave was really rough. I didn't buy into the first wave. I thought, oh, okay, it looked like crap, so I didn't buy into it, right? But a couple of waves later, I was like, oh damn, this actually looks really good now. And the amount of stuff that McFarlane Toys pumps out every year, just pumps it out like crazy, man. Where now I've got a whole display here where I've tried to convert a Barbie dream house and I've repainted it, converting it into like a Hall of Justice looking thing, right? I've still yet to finish it. I've got bits and pieces behind me here to fixate onto this thing to make it look super cool and to put some cardboard inserts in there so it looks like more like the Hall of Justice display screens and stuff like that. Trust me, it looks cool. It looks cooler than I'm making it sound, I think anyway. But yeah, I've got a whole DC display there now. I've never had that in my life. But this toy line, it was affordable. It was cheaper than Marvel Legends. And they're bigger, 7-inch figures, not 6-inch like Marvel Legends. And they just look awesome. Look, just, yeah, I can't say enough good stuff about it. Anyway, to hear that there was a bidding war between whatever toy companies, and Mattel won out. They paid more essentially and won the license back. So that means Todd McFarlane no longer have the license to make this toy line anymore. So this year is going to be the last year. So he said, it is what it is. That's business. He wasn't prepared to pay more than what he already is for it. And looks like other companies weren't either. But Mattel being Mattel, the big dog, right, they came in and just waved their wallet around. There, here you go. They've got the license back. Because they probably saw how well this line was doing, right? And with the new DC Universe movies coming out, perfect timing to regain license. So anyway, look, I'm disappointed. I'm not going to invest anymore. Like this new Mattel line, whenever they do anything, I'm not going to, like it is what it is. I've done my dash. I've got my DC set up here. It's fine. I don't think they'll do the 7-inch route either. I think they'll go back to a 6-inch route to compete with Marvel Legends. But anyway, I just thought it was a bit disappointing for those of you who might be collecting some DC Multiverse figures out there. Enjoy 2025 as the last year. Mattel gets it back in 2026, and then who knows how long it's going to take before they get any product out anyway, because it takes quite a while to get a toy line together and molds perfected and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you do collect this kind of stuff, just let me know and tell me what figures you've got or if this bums you out, whatever. Personally, I'm disappointed because there's some figures like so Todd McFarlane did really obscure characters, right? And that was one of the appeals, right? Because you can have some confidence in saying that you might get a really obscure DC character that other companies might not do, right? Mattel won't do that, I don't think. Other toy companies won't do that unless it's, I don't know, whatever, one of those freak in a pan kind of things that, well, it's a meme or something. They might put a figure out that might actually sell. But like I want an Aztec figure, right? I was hoping and looking forward to McFarlane doing an Aztec figure. I've almost got all the Green Lantern figures that they that I think they would bother to put out. Simon Baz just got that. Guy Gardner's on his way. I don't think we're going to get a Jessica Cruz before Todd McFarlane loses the license, right? Otherwise, I've got the vast majority of the Earth-based Green Lanterns and a couple other alien ones as well for my Green Lantern setup. But I mean, we've got a Mr. Terrific, which is awesome. A bloody Commander Steel figure. Who the hell would ever think that? There's the villain like Clockwork. What's his name? Clock something. Oh god, I can't remember his name. I just like Ambush Bug, man. I got an Ambush Bug figure. Ambush Bug. It's another obscure. I mean, Spectre. I got a Spectre figurine. Oh bloody! There's a Green Lantern villain called oh god, I'm just looking at him. Oh, what's his name? Oh my god, just drawing a blank. No, I've lost the name, but it's a super obscure Green Lantern figure. That it's that obscure I can't even remember his name. He's fire based, like he can create fire based constructs instead of light based, and he looks like the Joker here, and he's got a big red flamey body and all this kind of stuff. Real wild, like out there kind of character that nobody heard about that character until the listing came out. And Effigy, that's his name, Effigy, and people were like, holy crap, we're getting an Effigy figure, before some other like Justice League International characters or whatever. You're like, so he wasn't afraid to put out some obscure characters, which, I don't think Mattel's going to do. they're going to just stick to your standard Justice League figures, your standard DC characters that are popular and that are known, right? Whatever the TV shows and the movies are doing, you'll have those, right? So it's just disappointing to just set that all the way back to zero again. And I mean, he was pumping out Batmobiles as well, like big Batmobiles that could fit a 7-inch figure in, right? You rarely ever get vehicles these days from toy manufacturers because they're expensive. But Todd McFarlane Toys, find a way to do it, right? It's crazy. I'm disappointed, but I mean, my bank account's going to be happy, and so is my wife. But look, anyway, I sort of want to put this in here because, look, it is what it is. It's literally a first world problem. I know that, but as a collector, it's like, oh man, okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of my collecting for that line. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff coming up between now and the end of this year. And Todd McFarlane's gone on record saying like there's still heaps of stuff to come. We've seen some of the leaked listings and pretty hyped on some of that stuff that's coming out. So I've still got some on my list to pick up. So anyway, one more thing, and then I'll wrap it up. So I thought this was going to be a short one, but it's not. Back to Power Rangers, right? I just really need to talk about this because this is really bad. Really bad. And I get it. They're going for a certain audience, right? Playmates, right? Playmates toys are always cheap, right? Always. At least in my experience. The last kind of things that I bought, the last figures I bought from Playmates were some Ninja Turtles. The little figures felt really good, right? For the main 4 turtles. But the pack that I bought came with a Shredder and a Splinter, and they are just terrible. Terrible, right? And I got the 80s reissue of the Turtle Van. Look, it's good, right? But all the little accessories that you put on, like the side view mirrors and the turrets, man, the plastic is just shocking. Shocking. Like I don't know, it's made out of Play-Doh or something. It's so soft and it can't hold a straight stance. And it just feels really cheap. So yeah, that was disappointing. And it's hollow. The interior's got no detail on it. And I was like, wow, okay. Like I know it was just like the 80s, right? But come on. Like this is 2022, 23 when they reissued that thing. Come on. Anyway. But yeah, look, I've had some other Playmates toys over the years and they've just been really cheap. So lo and behold, we've got Power Rangers going to the lowest bidder. Like Hasbro have just gone, hey, who wants it? And Playmates is like, we'll do it. So what they're going to do is, this is the toy line that they're doing. That's essentially, they're calling it Reignition, right? So it's going back to the 90s and they're making the toys like they were made in the 90s. And to me, that's a bad idea because the toys in the 90s were crap, right? I loved them as a kid. I'm not going to lie. But even as a kid, I could tell like these were a bit crap, right? But I love them just the same. And maybe that's what they're relying on, right? The kids today, which is what they're saying here. Only 10% of the product offering for this new Power Rangers line is considered collector driven, as the goal of both Playmates and brand owner Hasbro is trying to gain a new generation of children's attention and grow the brand from there. Right? Kids are smart today, man. If you put a toy in their hands and it's already a crap toy, they will be able to tell. They will tell that it's crap, right? And if they can't have fun with it, if they don't feel like it's worth having fun with, they won't. They won't like it, right? So anyway, and they've also got the ability to do more Power Rangers toys outside of Mighty Morphin, but they're not going to do that yet. They got no plans for that. It's just Mighty Morphin again, all right, which is fine, I guess. All right, because Mighty Morphin is the one that took over the world. All right, I get it. It's the more popular one, and I love Mighty Morphin. I'm not complaining, but there are other epic seasons besides Mighty Morphin. So let's just look at some of these, how crap they are. All right. So they're doing the head flip action thing again. Like who actually really likes this unless you want it as like a fidget spinner thing, right? The one thing that they got right with this Green Ranger one is that you don't have to take the shield off to do the head flip, right? Back in the 90s, you had to take the shield off to flip the head. Right, so that's one thing that they're doing good already just off this, but they look big and bulky and I don't like them. I'll never get that. Never. So look, you can see them all there. Looks a bit cheap. Some of the villains look okay, like King Sphinx back there looks awesome. I'm actually surprised that there's that many villains that they're investing in. And Playmates are good at that. Playmates will pump out the turtle figures. Pump them out, right? And all the villains and side characters and whatever else, even the obscure ones. So when I was talking about obscure characters, Playmates is good at doing that. But look, these are big and chunky because they've got to fit the mechanism inside, and they look bloated and stuff like that. Real cheap. I mean, you can see the sword there; it's kind of drooping. Anyway, look, it's clearly not for me. I'm obviously not the target audience. It's fine, but obviously I don't know who's going to buy these unless you're a diehard '90s toy fan. But I mean, oh man, she looks horrifying. Look at that face. Yeah. Anyway, packaging looks cool. I mean, the villains are what they are. Some limited articulation. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, Lightning Collection did that too. Lightning Collection was putting out some unique sculpts from Hasbro, and that was a collector focus line. Unique sculpts are expensive to do, right? Because you can't just reuse them. So that's the problem, is why you won't see too many unique sculpts coming out. So it's good to see that they're doing that already, putting some out. I mean, she looks just terrible. My God. And like, all the weapons are thick as hell. Like, you can barely, like, how do you get your hand around that? That's what she said. So anyway, some of the Goldar looks pretty cool. And the putties look solid. The putties look good. All right. I'll give him that. King Sphinx looks good. Anyway, but now we move in the battle bikes. So I was going off about the battle bikes in the Power Rangers game before, but this is a gimmick that's kind of fun for a couple of seconds, then you're over it. Right, so they've got this god-awful, ugly armor that they've got a vest on the action figure. Now, these figures are bigger than the figures that I just showed you. So it's a different sculpt again, right? And the bike, so if you just wanted the bike to display, right, or to put your other normal figures on, you can't because they're bigger. The bikes are too big to put the other figures on, right? And you've got this awful, like, stick kind of device mechanism thing sticking out of the side of the bike as well, that when you push a button, it flips the figure off the front of the bike, so so you can do a front flip or whatever to hit another enemy figure, right? And like, I get it, right? The play factor's there, but my God, what about the reuse? What if you wanted to not use that feature? Can you take that bar out of the side? Can you take it out? Right, and just have your Power Ranger sitting on the bike. Like, I know I sound like a disgruntled fanboy, but it's just, come on. Like, if I was Playmates, I get it, right? The play factor, aiming towards kids, I get it, right? But I wouldn't like this. When I was a kid, I didn't like this. I had the Black Ranger's motorbike with the side cart. I love that thing, man. It didn't have any gimmick. It was just the bike and the side cart. And you could put your Black Ranger figure on it and whoever else in the side cart. And that was all I had. And it was awesome. I loved it. I didn't need a stupid gimmick. So, yeah, look at it. It's just ugly, right? What if you were trying to invest into the children market and they got their battle bike when they're younger and they grow up to be someone like me or in my age bracket where they've kept their 90s figures, right? That's not me anymore. I lost them many years ago, but I know people that still have their 90s collection, right? I just wouldn't keep that. Right, I would try and find something else. Anyway, so these are some other figures. They're more higher price ones, but they're still in the budget bracket, as you can tell. Barely any paint, limited articulation. They just look bad in comparison to Hasbro's Lightning Collection stuff. I will not be getting any of these. I will not be investing in this toy line at all. And if they're not doing any collector focus stuff, I'm just not going to buy it. I'm zero interest in this. And I was very disappointed. The Megazord looks okay. This Megazord has some lights and sounds in it. I don't know if you can disassemble this Megazord if it's got lights and sounds in it. But there's another one it shows you here. This is where all the pieces are apart. You can buy the Zords individually, which I don't know about you, right? At least when Hasbro had this license, they would package the smaller Zords together. So you buy two in a pack. This one you buy them all individually, right? Now that adds up really quick, and they're not the best either, right? They're not the best looking thing. But I don't know about you, but I feel a bit crappy having to buy a pterodactyl Zord on its own. You know, like there's not much going on with it. You know, and these look cheap as. They look really bad. Just, I mean, the 90s one didn't look much better, but this isn't the 90s anymore. Like, you can do more with it. They've gotten rid of the actual tip of the gun, right? The cannon on the back of the saber-tooth tiger there. They've gotten rid of the nozzle for the cannon and replaced it with a blast effect, right? So when you see and the same thing with the Triceratops, the blue thing there, that's normally just fixated to the weapon. It's part of the weapon, part of the cannon, right? But for some reason, it's now a separate piece that can shoot out. I mean, that pterodactyl Zord looks like it does, right? But there's not much going on with it, right? So I'd feel really bad having to pay the same price as the other saber-tooth tiger and Triceratops swords, right? Look at that. Oh, boy. I think each pack comes with one of these figures as well, so that's kind of okay. But so look, what I'm getting at is you can see the gap on top of the Triceratops and the saber-tooth tiger Zord. That just looks bad. That looks really bad. I mean, that formation is correct and on point, but my God. And you can see it there with the Megazord at the back there. There's these gaps in the shins where they're usually filled in with the cannons. Anyway, look, the Zord itself looks like it's about to fall over. I hope they fix it before they release it. See, I've been in the market to. I mean, that actually looks pretty damn cool, like that. That looks actually kind of cool. Depends if the knees bend. I don't know how articulated this thing is, but that actually looks okay. Kind of eating my words at the moment here, but it's not the best one, but it looks better than Hasbro's one they did, not going to lie. At least the sword is filled in and it's not full of gaps and it's got paint on it, which is good. The Mastodon Zord, it is what it is. Now this looks like a good Tyrannosaurus Zord. There's some paint apps that are missing if you want it to be screen accurate, but I've been in the market to get just a red Tyrannosaurus Rex Zord just for my display to put in my Red Ranger because I don't want to. I've got a Jason Lee Scott display where I've got the Gold Ranger from Hasbro and the Red Ranger figure from Hasbro. I've got the Morpher, I've got the Zeo Staff, but I'm looking for just the Zords for those guys, right? Just to have that Jason display, right? So looking for a Tyrannosaurus Zord to put there, and one day hopefully I'll be able to get a Pyramidas back in my life. But this one looks like it might be good on its own as a display item, a display piece, and cheap. I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. So they've probably got me for that at least. Oh my God, my alarm's gone off. So that's that time already. So yeah, look, and they've got these cheap masks, Halloween masks. People thought they were actual full-on helmets, that they were going to do helmets like Hasbro did. But this Morpher, my God, it looks cheap as. It looks really boxy. I know it's for kids, I get it. But when you look at what Hasbro did and you look at what Bandai did back in the day, it was die-cast metal, lights and sounds. Hasbro, at least it's got metal coins in it. It's got lights and sounds, and it can detect the different coin and stuff like that. And it's screen accurate, like sizing and everything like that. It looks awesome. Whereas this one looks like it's big and chunky. Maybe that'll work for me as an adult. Maybe it's like an adult size Morpher. But anyway, the coins are plastic. They're not metal. It can do the whole thing where you put the coin in, it'll detect the coin for each individual ranger and stuff like that. That's cool. I get it, right? But it just looks very cheap. I'm pretty disappointed about that because I was looking for a second Morpher to take to like Comic-Con or whatever, or just to muck around with so I don't have to muck around and waste the batteries or wear out my current Hasbro Lightning Collection Morpher. Anyway, so this isn't it. This isn't going to be the one. But they've got other cool stuff, like they've got the Power Blaster and the Dragon Dagger, and they've got lights and sounds in them. The Dragon Dagger comes with its own Green Ranger coin, which will work in the other morpher, but Tommy had a gold morpher, right? So will he get his own? What will they just release the Green Ranger morpher as it's meant to be? That flute actually looks quite good. The Dragon Flute, Dragon Dagger actually looks quite good, not going to lie. And that blaster looks pretty legit too. But anyway, look, it is what it is. It's clearly not for me. They said that at the start. It's meant for kids. We've had our time. Power Rangers was wasted with Hasbro. Hasbro wasted that property. A lot of mistakes were made. I can't believe it, man. Power Rangers is one of the most recognizable brands on the planet, and you squandered it, right? Anyway, yeah, cool. Anyway, there was a Transformers stuff there, but I'm not getting into Transformers because I think I've spoken enough here. I'm losing my voice, and I've just heard some thunder, and I'm paranoid that I'm going to lose power. So the rain is still going. So I'm going to wrap it up here and call it a day. And let's just do that, huh? Yeah. Excelente. All right. So cool. Thanks for joining me on this one. I know it was a bit slapped together and a bit casual. But again, like I said at the top of the show, I wasn't sure if I was going to lose power at any time soon. So, but I wanted to do something to keep myself occupied and to put something out there and give you something like weekly, like I try to do this, right? I want to keep consistent and so you know that I'm here and that I'm turning up to do this, right? And I wanted to talk about some of this stuff. Like I like talking about some toys, some games and, whatever else. It's not all about, bad news and pop culture and whatever that I try to avoid these days. So trying to find some cool stuff to talk about that's positive that I can share and let you know what I'm into, and hopefully some of you are into it as well, and we can get the conversation going. But anyway, cool. Again, thanks for having me as part of your day. Really appreciate it. Your time's not lost to me, so hopefully you enjoy spending your time with me, essentially. Feel free to follow me on all my socials. UncleChunt.com. It has everything there, and you can find all my socials there as well. But if you're on a social platform, more than likely I'm on there too. So just follow me there if you like. And look, in the meantime, until next time, till all are one, and may the power protect you. And Alfred, go away forever, and may there not be another cyclone in this area for a number of years. Bye.